I'm going to turn now to my good friend Brian Singer, who Brian was the best man at my first wedding, and that didn't work out. So I didn't have him back for the second. But the truth was, it was a very small second wedding, so it's not like
I don't feel badly.
You don't feel
I
badly. And listen, so far so good.
Yep.
We've been married 8 years now. Second marriage. We have Marley, beautiful Marley.
Yep.
But anyway, this isn't really about me. This is about you. I'm delighted to have you on the show, Brian. I know you've helped a number of clients of mine over the past,
Yep.
and including family members of mine.
Yes.
And you're a very honest and caring person, and I know you've made some changes recently, moving to a new company. You want to tell us about that?
Sure. Thank you. I'm excited to be on the show as well, so thank you for inviting me, David. I've been in the investment business coming on 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
I started off at CIBC Wood Gundy, where I was on the bond desk, and moved over to the retail side, where I was helping clients for about 6.5 years. Moved over to Raymond James.
Mm-hmm.
And I was with Raymond James for about 6.5 years. And last week, I decided to make a move, which I'm very excited about. And now I am still with the same independent office called the Platinum Advisors Group.
Right.
But now we're going to be affiliated with Canaccord Wealth Management.
Okay.
They're based in, their head office is in Vancouver. They have offices throughout Canada. But they're starting up an independent division, which Raymond James had successfully built out, and now we're going to do that also at Canaccord.
Okay. Well, I have no doubt, whatever company you're with, that you'll take very good care of your clients, which I think the most important thing. So now tell me. I mean, we've had a bit of upheaval, to say the least, in the market in the last year, and probably a lot of financial advisors been hiding under their desk. I mean, how do you deal with probably a fair bit of skepticism,
right?
When the markets dropped as much as they did?
Right. Sure. Good question. It's been I think a generation event. What we're going through in terms of financial market turmoil. And to answer your question, the biggest thing is communication. People say it all the time, but it's important not to hide under your desk. It's important to get out there and to relate to clients and say to them, I understand what's going on. I understand how you must be feeling.
Right.
But, if you have a plan and you understand the risks involved in your portfolio, that goes a long way to assisting. And it's very important to constantly hearken back to what things are working.
Right.
There are always some things that are not working because it's not an exact science.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you look at the benefits, the things that are working. You remind them of why we are invested in these particular investments, and that also speaks to the point that it's very, very important for each portfolio to have an objective and a goal.
Right.
Some people just say, Brian, I've got $250,000 to invest. I want to invest it in the markets. Let's get the best return possible. That often is a recipe for success. Much better to say, look, I'm saving for the following, or what I'm looking for is 3% over inflation, and I'd be very happy with it. Or some people say, look, just get me 7% a year, taxable or not taxable. I'm looking for this number. With low risk, what can we do?
Right.
So once you have that goal in mind and you have a roadmap, you can handle these major hiccups a lot better.
Right. Well, I know if anyone, had the courage, and I guess most people did, despite their frustrations, to stay in the market, or even to put more money into the market at the bottom. Of course, I guess knowing when the bottom is another story. But it dropped quite a bit, probably 6 or 8 months ago, something like that. They would have seen a considerable gain. I mean, things have really picked up in the last 6 months or so, wouldn't you say? Or?
Yeah, 100%. To use percentages, pun intended. Last fall, September, October, November, those 3 months were made up a year that you have to go back to the Great Depression, to 1929, to have seen such a poor year where indices fell 50-60%. And then that continued into January, February, March. March, we hit the lows around March 9th. And since then, North American markets are up 50-60%. It's really quite extraordinary. I'm very wary of that. The clients that have equity exposure, I've pulled them back. I've taken them out of the market for the most part in September.
Right.
September, October are usually the worst months. They've been okay. October's turning out well. But anytime you have gains of 50, 60%, those are extraordinary gains. Even if you haven't made up your money, made back your money from where you were in 2008 in the fall, I'm counseling my clients, stand back. You're up 50%, let's get out. There'll be another correction,
right?
And then we can get back in at some lower prices and evaluate at that time.
Right.
But much better to take some money off the table,
right?
And stand back while the stampede goes by, than be there to see it go off a cliff again.
Right, kind of a strategic approach. And,
exactly.
And I know one of the things that you offer is like you will help people build a customized portfolio. Like I know there's investment people that are around that let's say all they sell, for example, is mutual funds. They say, "Oh, just buy this mutual fund. I'll go to sleep for the next 2 years, and we'll let the fund managers take." I mean, besides the fact that these fund managers charge, and a lot of people don't even realize, I think, some of the percent. But you will actually do like the management. Like you may have some funds in a portfolio, but then again, you do purchase underlying securities and bonds and different. I mean, you really find the right mix.
That's right.
For the client.
Exactly. I like to think that. When you take me on, you're taking on the not only the advisor but the money manager. Pardon me, the money manager as well. So I'm the guy that you speak to. What's going on with my portfolio? I can answer right away. Why did we buy this again? Tell me about this particular investment. The other way, you become like a go-between, an intermediary, and I have to say, well, let me speak to the mutual fund company. Let me see if we can get a report on the latest holdings. You feel removed from it,
right?
And with what's happened, people want to be closer to their investments. They want to understand what's going on. These supposedly, propeller heads from Wall Street and Bay Street with PhDs and computer-driven models. When everything goes down, when the tide goes out, all boats go down.
Yeah.
And that's what happened last fall. So it's a lot more comforting to know that you've got the person that you pick up the phone to is at the helm and watching your portfolio closely versus someone who sits in New York, Calgary, London, Halifax, Toronto.
Right, and you're not one of these guys who hides under his desk, so people will be able to find you. And so, I mean, do you have a website now, or how do people get a hold of you?
Well, because of the move, I don't have a website right now, but I will. I'm sure in the next several months. My phone number is still the same. It's 416-222-0565. I'm located at Yonge and Eglinton, as well, I have an email address, bsinger43@gmail.com, so people can phone me there.
Okay.
And
so there were 42 other Brian Singers?
I guess so, yeah.
Okay, well, we hope to see a lot more of you, Brian.
Wonderful.
I've always enjoyed talking with you. Hopefully, we could spend some time on the show.
That'd be great.
Trying to convince Brian to start another show. So hopefully, we'll see a lot more of Brian. Anyway, thank you very much for coming down to see us today, and we'll talk soon.
Wonderful.
Okay, so there you hear it, Brian Singer. Give him a call, and he'll help you with your situation. And stick with us. We're going to take a very short break, at which time we're going to be back with either Frank Diamond or Dan Rapkin from B'nai B'rith for some interesting conversations. So stick with us. We'll be right back.